Welcome back to Riesa. David Goldstrom together with David Morgan. Hope you're enjoying the competition. I think this is going to be a little bit exciting here, David. I'm looking forward to this now.
Yes, we had a very close snatch competition.
Here comes Pustovoy, the first of the two Belarus gentlemen. Pustovoy, who ended up with 137.5 on the snatch, so he's a long way back. But I think he made that harder than he needed to.
Yeah, looked a little bit shaky there overhead. It'll be interesting to see what the referees made of it. 2-1 decision.
Based on just not being steady, or?
Well, one of the referees, I think, you know, again, it's this lockout. One of the referees not happy that the arms went straight to arm's length and stayed there. I mean, I think the lift was fine.
I think you can guess who this is, Andreas Bem. And I promise you, with the likes of Mark Hooster lifting at 85 kilos on Saturday and Ronnie Weller versus Chemerkin on Sunday, the super heavyweight clash, there ain't going to be a seat in the house. It's pretty good. The crowd have been excellent, actually, considering that it's a normal working week until tomorrow. It's holiday, of course, May the 1st. Not for us, we'll be on duty. But Andreas Bem with 165 on the bar.
Yes, and this will tell the tale about the knee.
Well, it will, because he clean and jerked 175 in training in Portugal, so perhaps he might have been thinking of coming in originally a bit higher than this. And I say that on the basis of not only to worry about the knee, but, you know, last year when he was 4th in Europe, he opened at 175 and then went 180 and failed at 185. So he seems to be a little bit below that. But
he looks to be having problems here, though.
Well, thank goodness he's got a total. I'd hate to see him end his major championship career on a no total. So that's the one worry out of the way. This is Yeliazkov. Just sorting out his clothing, and now we're back to Lavrinov. Lavrinov, one of the lighter men.
Yes, took the silver medal in the snatch.
Indeed he did, 150 kilos, and he's only 2.5 kilos off the pace behind Yeliazkov. How does that compare with his prediction? He said he was going to come in at 167.5.
Which is exactly what he's doing.
So he's definitely got a plan, this man, and sticking to it.
Well, he did the same thing on his first snatch, if you remember, and then came back and even went one lift further. I don't think that's the weight. He cleans it very, very comfortably, looks very, very strong. I think it's just a momentary lapse of concentration, which of course at this level can be very costly.
Well, yes, because he's really, having recovered in the snatch, he's put himself into, you know, an excellent position to get a overall medal, which would be terrific for Belarus. They're not on the medal table yet. That'll be a big boost to their spirits and the whole team. Andreas.
And one wonders whether or not he's going to be carrying on.
And I think we're just looking to our German colleagues here in the commentary position, and they're suggesting that that may be enough for him. Now Lavrinov having to follow himself with Bem, I think deciding to call it a day. He's got plenty of time, so he doesn't need to rush this, he just needs to make it. I hope he does, because it's going to make the competition so much more interesting. Come on.
No mistake that time.
No, that's
exactly
good.
The same as in the snatch.
So the light man's in contention. So that's good.
The next lifter will be Pustaboy from Yellow Russia. Pustaboy, Greece.
So 170 is his next thought, but before he comes, here's Pustaboy, his teammate, who's got 170 on the bar. Quite different, these two, aren't they, the two Belarus lifters?
Yes, well, this one's wasn't so clever in the snatch, but he does seem to be up there in the clean and jerk, doesn't he?
Well, he gets that above his head, and that will do him a power of good, because that'll lift him up the order a little bit now. Just looking at the total at the moment, Pustaboy with 335. Lavrinov with 317. Well, actually, I'm just looking at. I don't. That doesn't really make any sense, does it? That's, we're just trying to do the maths here.
So 310.
310, yes.
Puts him into second place at the moment. Federation.
Well, this is the man from Slovakia, Rudolf Lukács. Now, he lived extremely dangerously in the first part of the competition. 2 failures in the snatch at 140, and then finally made it at the 3rd attempt. But he wouldn't want me to remind him that he tried a jerk at this weight 3 times last year in Croatia, and he failed all 3. So he didn't get a total a year ago. If he does this...
Well, he's in trouble again. One feels that this man starts with simply too heavy a weight. He really struggled to stand up from that clean. And it leaves you thinking, well, even if he was successful with that lift, how's he going to manage to lift any more? He's really coming in on the edge.
So what would you have thought there? He took 172.5. Would you have taken him down to 167 and to just break off here? This is Andreas Bem having treatment on the knee. This was what he was worried about. Everything was going so well in training, and then, as I said, he clean and jerked to 175 and then dropped the bar on his knee. And
well, of course, this is weightlifting. You can spend 4 years training for a competition, and the week before you can damage something, and it's all lost.
Yeliaskov coming on the stage now, and this new European Federation plan for only the best 8 in the final really does make it a much more interesting contest. You get right into the main meal quickly. And Yeliaskov coming on for his first attempt at 172.5. And remember, he has a 2.5 kilo advantage from the snatch over the field. But will he be as good at this as he was at the snatch?
Now that's interesting what he did there. If you notice, he started off with a very close grip for the first part of the movement, and then he jumped his hands out. Now I've noticed the Bulgarians doing this a lot. They must think that they gain some kind of a mechanical advantage.
Well, you were saying the other night, it means there's a shorter distance to travel. See it here. Well, if it works, why not use it? Second attempt for Rudolf Lukacs. Makes his living as a sports instructor.
Yes, and I think if I'd struggled with 172 on my first attempt like he had, I think I'd be praying to somebody as well. Really putting himself on the line with every single lift.
So low.
Now he's got to steady himself.
I think he better make... I was going to say, I think he better make this because I wasn't sure he'd make the third one. He's really doing himself absolutely no good at all. He's now got to make one final supreme effort to avoid a repetition of 12 months ago.
Yeah, and of course each one of these lifts takes so much effort, so much energy. He's really going to need a bit of a break. Yes, he squats very low, he splits very wide. Everything's to the limit with this man.
And again, having seen him have the problem that he did in the snatch, you'd have thought that the coach would have said, look, let's go in at 167, let's go in at 170, let's get something on the board and, you know, okay, limit our ambitions, but let's not do what we ended up with last year, which is having nothing.
Well, it's demoralising. You know, you come out with the first attempt and then and you miss it twice. You know, it puts pressure on you. It's just so unnecessary.
Now, Pustovoy coming out for Belarus, and a very famous man in the audience tonight, Alexander Kurlovich, Olympic champion, super heavyweight in 1988 and 1992. He's currently the president of the Belarus Weightlifting Federation. And he's in the house tonight. And, well, I wonder if Lukacs is going to call it a day. Surely, yes, I think putting it... I was going to say, I was mystified what the loaders were up to there.
I think what he's actually doing, David, I think he's trying to buy some time. He would have had to have followed himself with 172.5. And very difficult to follow yourself after doing a very hard clean and jerk. And he's decided that...
get himself an extra 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, he's decided that the 2.5 kilos is worth the rest.
Well, here he is prowling around. Very good facility here in Riesa. And they're going to build an even better one by next year if Wolfram Köhler, the mayor of Riesa, gets his way. A 10,000-seater sports hall. He says that's the only way to take Riesa on in its ambitions to become a major sports centre. Already here, a swimming pool, little aged, but not too bad. And across the road, the Olympia Cafe with squash, 10-pin bowling, a gym run by their Olympic four-man bobsleigh driver, Harold Shudai. And he's been a good host to us while we've been here. And we're off 10-pin bowling with him later tonight. Now, Rudolf Lukacs for Slovakia. Come on, sir, we need you to get this.
Well, this is going to take guts and determination. He's going to have to do everything right.
But he's got to get the technique right as well. It's all right having the guts and determination, but he's got to do this. He's got just under half a minute. Needs a good clean.
Well, no, and it doesn't surprise me.
I'm very sad for him, but I've got to question his coach. And I'm just looking out there. Where is his coach? That's the point. I mean, I wonder whether that's one of the problems. He seems to be, as you're watching that, I'm seeing him walk off stage. He seems to be all alone, which is very strange. Anyway, Verse 1. This is Fedal Gula. Well, it didn't go to plan for him either on the snatch phase. Fedal with just 140 kilos. So he really needs to make some improvement here. $175 on the bar. And that's very good. And 175 kilos. Mind you, I must say, David, he's still got a long way to go. When he won the European Championship in 1996, he lifted 193 to set what was then a world record.
Yes, I mean, he's obviously not come back after that injury.
So, Gula up to a total of 315. And this is Ergun Batmaz of Turkey.
Yes, now he didn't look very good on the snatch either.
No, he didn't.
And he managed 145.
And again, in winning the European title last year, I mean, he was clean and jerking 192.5. So it really does bear out what you've been saying, that the Turks are still not at full power or anything like it at the moment.
Of course, Naim Suleimanoglu is now retired. It makes you wonder if that has anything to do with it. Well, what is going on with these Turks? They just don't seem to have the fire that they had in them in previous years.
So Musev, I should say, onto the stage for his first clean and jerk at 175. One or two other famous lifters in the hall we've spotted. Leonid Taranenko, the Olympic gold medalist in the super heavyweights all the way back to 1980. And I remember him coming back in 1996 to win the super heavyweight in Stavanger at the European Championships, which could have taken him to the Olympics in Atlanta. At the end of the day, it didn't. But he's here as coach for the Belarus Weightlifting Federation. And that's a failure at 175 for Musayev.
Yes, and these men really putting themselves on the line on the clean and jerk. So the Bulgarian in the warm-up having a long wait. So he'll have to take another warm-up attempt. And there is Kurlovic on the screen with Sarkisian, another great bantam weightlifter sitting next to him.
Yes, it's building up now, coming towards the weekend. So Batmaz for his second attempt at 175 kilos.
Yes, they failed on this weight on his first. Weight just looked too heavy. Well, he's cleaned it, looks good. Now the drive. And, well, what a surprise. This is 17.5 kilos below what he did last year, and he's missed it for the second time.
Not really sure what it is with the Turks. I mean, they were desperately depressed, but I have to say, they brought it on themselves, or at least the women did, with 3 of them disqualified for doping after the World Championships and ruling out the whole of the women's team. And it just seems the spirit has gone out of the whole of the Turkish team.
Well,
at the
these
moment.
lifters are lifting 15, 17.5 kilos below their best in each lift.
Well, this is Ramzan Musayev for his second attempt at 175 kilos. And something rather interesting as well.
Well, these men, they seem to have chosen the wrong weights to start with. I mean, that was a second attempt. He fouled with it on the first attempt. He's now fouled with it on the second attempt. And the weight just looked so heavy. It looked more like a third attempt. Really struggles to stand up with this weight.
And it's worth just pointing out now that Andrei Matviev, who lifted in the B group earlier on today, actually clean and jerked 180 kilos for a total of 317.5.
Yes, and looking at it, and also the Hungarian in the B group, clean and jerked 177.5. So at the moment, they're in gold medal position.
Pustovoy, snatch, wrong. Look.
So nobody as yet managing to clean and jerk the 175 kilos. But it's interesting to note that earlier on today in the B group, 2 lifters, the Hungarian succeeded with a clean and jerk of 177.5, and the Russian succeeded with 180. So at the moment, the 2 B group lifters are in gold and silver medal position, David.
I know, that's a very uncomfortable situation to be in, particularly for the organisers. So Pustovoy now coming in for his third lift at 175. Now add this to his snatch attempt. Lifted at 137.5, Pustovoy. But doesn't get that.
Actually, the only man who's lifted this so far is the Turk Fedel Gula.
Well, Yeliaskov sitting quite calmly at the moment. Situation is that he's lifted 172.5 and is just sitting in the wings as Musayev of Azerbaijan comes out for his third lift.
And looking at the situation at the moment, David, it seems that the 2 men from the B group are going to be in the medals. At least on the clean and jerk, anyway.
Yes, indeed, Matveyev of Russia with 180 kilos at the moment leads the competition.